Hi everyone, this is my run on Ancient Memories, which is there's just lost chapter in DFFOO global version of the game. And this run will be sort of like a showcase of the newly released Young's LD, where you can really optimize the use of his follow-up attacks using characters with multiple consecutive turns, such as Lightning and Terra here. First of all, the strategy that I use is really firstly to use lightning to bring the bosses down to 49%, and then I'll be using Terra to finish them off from the 49% health onwards. To really support this strategy, the call abilities are actually very important. So you notice that I use Crawl, LD Call on Young, and that's really key because Young will only get 2 turns the entire fight. And since he carries the Thunder Enchant from Crawl Call, that means that your entire party is Thunder Enchanted for the entire fight as well. And it's great because the bosses in this fight are actually naturally weak to the Thunder element. So you'll be hitting for weakness damage practically the whole fight. So the turn order is also quite key. You really want Terra to act last, so you might need to reset until you get either Lightning or Young moving first, and then the other one moving second. As the turn order doesn't matter as long as Terra moves third. So I start off with setting up Crawl, LD, Call, and regular Call with Young, and then using his LD. And then on Lightning's turn, I use Gabran's LD Call, but I hold on to Gabran's regular Call so that I can use it again later in the fight. So I just do Lightning's initial rotation at the start, and then I go into her LD. And if you notice the turn order, due to the high turn rate, Lightning will now go after Terra. So on Terra's turn here, I immediately activate her burst mode. And the great thing about Young's LD is it also takes into it also happens during burst mode as well. So all of Terra's attacks during her burst mode will get a follow-up from Young, and Young will also be hitting for Thunder Enchanted weakness damage. Now the main reason why I use Terra's burst so early in the game is so that when it comes to Lightning's turn, Lightning will be able to act many consecutive turns while having Terra's burst effect in play, which really helps to boost the damage that Lightning can do. With Terra, it's very important to save her LD as a last skill in the burst rotation, and this will allow you to have a few more additional free turns with Terra once her burst mode has ended. So now burst mode has ended, and because I used Terra's LD last in the burst rotation, I have a few more free turns, so I just spam some meteors here. Now after Terra's rotation ends, I actually do not use her LD. I'm saving all 4 of Terra's LD for the 49% phase of the fight. Alright, so I'm now coming to Lightning's turn, and this is where I will be machine gunning with Lightning all the way down to 49%. And the idea is to capitalize on Lightning's LD and AA to give her multiple consecutive turns over and over again. Right, so here she's used her EX, she's gotten a free turn. I use it to use her AA so that I can reset the free turn again. And then I use her LD. Okay, so I've gotten a few free multiple turns with Lightning's LD, and the idea is to use those free turns to use some of her skills to charge her EX meter, and then on her final turn again, I will be repeating her LD unless her EX is ready, of course. So here EX isn't ready, and I just burn her next LD. So use her EX because it's up. The idea here is really just to take as many turns as possible with lightning so that I can get to 49% as quickly as possible. Alright, last LD. And then I get 2 more free turns with lightning yet again. So I'll be using this to use her skills, hopefully to charge her EX meter in time. Okay, so at this point I've hit the 49 HP threshold. When this happens, the Lufenia orb will disappear, but unfortunately the bosses will cleanse all debuffs on them. So here is where during Lightning's turn still I use Gabran's regular call. So this will inflict 4 debuffs and the most important being the HP damage up by 10%. So at this point I'm just completing Lightning's remaining rotation before she runs out of 3 consecutive turns. And then I'll be swapping her out. If you have any additional ability left over from Lightning, you can actually just burn all of them here. Because they actually do damage since they trigger Young's follow-up attack. So here, before I swap her out, I'm just burning the rest of her additional ability for some free damage without taking any turn count. Okay, so now that Lightning has done her job, I swap her out for Garland. And I immediately go into Garland's burst. So the idea here is, now that Lightning is out, I'm switching over to Terra to use her LD to finish off the bosses. And since I brought in Garland here, having his burst effect significantly increases the damage that Terra can do, as well as also of course the follow-up attacks that Young will do. So on Terra's turn, I'm reapplying Jack's LD debuff so that I get the nice defense down and brave damage up boost. And pretty much that's it. So at this point of the game, the bosses is close to 40% health. Their turns are so delayed by lightning that they're not even visible on the turn bar. And I have 4 LD users left for Terra, so it's just a matter of spamming LD into meteors with Terra until the end of the fight. Just one note here that if you notice, I actually use Terra's LD again at this point before her LD rotation is over. And the only reason I did this is to preserve the turn count. So if you use the LD while Terra still has the free turns, it doesn't add to the turn count. and you get more free turns with Terra. Of course, the drawback is that you're wasting one of Terra's free turns. So you know, if you're not too fast about the turn count, it is actually better to just use the full free turns, you spamming meteors, and then once the free turn is over, just repeat LD into meteors again. If you really want to reduce the turn count, you can sacrifice one of the meteor turns at the end to use the LD instead. Right, so this is Terra's last LD, and I was really hoping that I could finish the fight without using summon. Well, technically I could. There's so many more turns after this before the bosses can act that I can just comfortably finish them off, but I really wanted to try to keep my turn count as low as possible. So just for that reason, I decided to pop my summon here so that I can finish on turn 12. Again, really, there's a lot of wiggle room here. As you can see, if you're not too fast about turn count, you can replicate the exact same strategy without using any burst mode. And of course, you can use the summon a bit earlier to buy you the turns if you need to. Or if you don't have Terra's burst effect, you can still manage this run quite well, either using Lightning's burst or even no burst mode at all. There's really quite a lot of wiggle room. Without any burst weapons, what I would recommend is to follow the same strategy, but Lightning will probably finish her LD and rotation slightly above 50%. At that point, you can just use burst mode to bring the bosses down to 49%. So that's it. Hope this video has been entertaining. As always, if you enjoyed the video, do leave a like, comment or subscribe. It really helps a lot. Till then, I'll see you guys in the next Lufenia fight. Bye bye.